Well, what an appropriate word. Off the deep end, brought to you by Humminbird here at the CCA Workbench. John, you were here last year. You really set us straight. This year, you know, I kind of instructed you. I want to know about the safety of the different type of diving we do here in Florida. Why don't we touch on that?
Okay, we do obviously scuba diving, free diving, and snorkeling. And the first thing, as far as safety, this thing is really cool. Free diving, the sport of free diving is growing at such a fast rate that especially the younger divers are exceeding their limits faster than the rate of their experience level.
Right.
So the whole thing is it takes time to learn your boundaries. This will save your life. This is called the Free Diver Recovery Vest. And it basically works kind of like your dive watch, where you could set your maximum depth, whatever you're comfortable with. Let's say your maximum depth is 70 feet. You set it for 75 feet. You reach that depth, it's going to self-inflate and bring you to the surface.
Wow.
Same thing with time. Let's say your maximum breath hold is a minute 30 or a minute 40. You set it for that. If you exceed that, it will inflate with the CO2 and bring you to the surface.
Wow.
A really cool thing is, since 90% of the blackouts happen at the surface, it has this is a surface alert. So you have to manually acknowledge that you hit the surface within 15 seconds by pushing this button. If you don't, it will self-inflate.
Oh,
so
I got you.
This is a really cool thing that's going to save some lives.
All right, I love it. What else you got for me this week, Johnny?
This is called the Diver Alert Plus. It'll attach to your buoyancy compensator, right to the air valve. It's compatible with about 90% of all the BCs. And it sends a pneumatic sound out underwater, kind of like a drum. So if you get separated from your divers, you can maybe regroup. But more importantly, if you come to the surface and you don't see your boat, you drifted off in the current, you got a cramp, the anchor pulled, whatever happens, this will send an ear-piercing siren that could be heard from about a mile away.
Wow.
So what
is this gig?
All right, this is really cool. This is called the Nautilus Lifeline. If you're scuba diving or free diving, but scuba diving, you would put it in the pouch of your BC. It's basically a waterproof VHF/GPS.
What?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, good to 300 feet. So you come to the surface, your boat's not there, you don't see your boat driver, you know, it's rough, you can't find them. You would touch this green button and you can communicate with your boat on the VHF.
On channel 16.
On channel 16. If that fails, you don't reach your personal boat driver, you hit this other button.
The orange button.
And it will go to all vessels monitoring channel 16. You communicate to all vessels.
Wow.
If that doesn't work, then you hit this center button, and through the DSC network, it will send out your coordinates to everybody that's monitoring on the DSC.
Wow, and it gives you the GPS coordinates right here.
And it, the DSC, puts your GPS coordinates on the VHF.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny.
All right. This is called a surface marker. You would have this reel on your belt, and when you're diving, let's say you're doing a wall dive or a drift dive and you're not anchored, so you're moving and the boat's kind of following you, just take your regulator and purge a little bit of air in there and let it go to the surface. It'll expand on its way up and it'll hit the surface, and it just sits there and bobs along, and you can see it from a great distance. You see how long it is.
Right.
So the boat can actually follow you while you're diving, keep you from getting lost.
I like it.
There's something very similar called a safety sausage.
Safety sausage.
Which, when it's rolled up attached to your belt, it looks like this, and you could just, manually or orally inflate that and send that to the surface. Or a lot of guys when they're scuba diving or spearfishing on wrecks and stuff, they carry multiple of them and they send the fish back to the boat. So you're not sitting there with a stringer of fish underwater. You could send the fish back up on that.
I like it. I like it.
See, we're gonna get you out there.
I'll be the boat driver.
No, with all this stuff, you're safe now.
You and Niebuhr. All right, and Colin and Rich.
Rick, we're gonna get you in the water. We're going to. We're going to throw you in and drag you down by your fins.